The Bay Area Women's Center is changing lives through its emergency shelter, crisis intervention, and many programs to support survivors. And the concerning data on violence and abuse, including here in Michigan, shows why its mission is so important.
Proud mom, successful entrepreneur.
I've been in business for 4 years now. I do all kinds of cleaning, post-construction, residential, commercial, Airbnbs.
But Amber Estez's life looked very different 14 years ago.
Well, I found myself in a situation where I needed help and I didn't have any family or anything.
She was being abused physically and verbally by a dangerous and controlling man who was supposed to love her.
They make you feel like you don't have help. You're scared. And then if kids are involved, you're scared for their life.
She says despite her calls to law enforcement, the violence didn't stop, and she suffered in isolation.
Well, you just feel like you don't have anywhere to go. You don't have anyone to turn to.
The Bay Area Women's Center is working to change that. The nonprofit, dating back to 1975, is a safe place for survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse.
It really doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is, what job you have. You can find yourself in a domestic violence situation because it looks different for everybody.
And the numbers are concerning. The nonprofit says about 1 out of every 3 women and 1 in 4 men will experience domestic violence in their lifetime. And it's even higher in our state. Federal data shows 36% of Michigan women experience physical violence, rape, and or stalking by an intimate partner in their lives.
It's hard to see the signs when you're in the midst of it, especially when it's someone that you truly do care for and think that they have your best interest in mind.
And it's important to note some domestic violence situations don't get physical. Advocates say abuse is also verbal, emotional, and financial. And that isolation piece can be big.
A lot of that is that mental control that an assailant has over them, making them feel like they're worthless. No one else will ever want them. Nobody cares about them. Their family is far away.
Each year, the Bay Area Women's Center provides services for several hundred victims of abuse.
And although we're called the Women's Center, we support survivors of any gender identity. So man, woman, non-binary, transgender, they can all find the support that they need here. We keep all the basics and then any of their special requests.
The shelter has 12 bedrooms and 32 beds. Help is available for anyone who's afraid for their life, the lives of their children, their pets.
We walk through the door and our first question is, how can we help you? What's going on? And learn what their experience is and what sort of services they need from us, because it's not cookie cutter. Everybody looks different.
Meals, clothing, shampoo, or a toothbrush, all the necessities are here. For survivors who have pets, the Women's Center will find boarding for the animal and get them up to date on their vaccinations, also free of charge. It's the safe place Amber turned to all those years ago.
They have all the help here and make you feel, at ease and at home so that it's a better transition and a hard time.
She still remembers the caring and dedicated staff who made the holidays special for her 1-year-old daughter and supported her through a very difficult loss.
That I was pregnant, but while I was here, I lost the baby. And so they helped me in that process too, because they bought my new child a bunch of baby things, but then when they heard that I lost the child while I was in the hospital, they made sure that all those things were out of my room so that it wasn't as hard for me. So they do go above and beyond what is in their job title.
Now, the Women's Center also offers resources for abuse survivors who don't live at the shelter, free counseling, group therapy, and legal assistance.
And we also have a sexual assault nurse examiner program. So that's for survivors of sexual assault who want to get that physical exam. One, to make sure that physically and medically they're okay, and to get those antibiotics to guard against any STIs. And secondarily, to collect evidence that can be used if they decide to press charges.
There's also a 2-year transitional housing program.
They helped me get into my own place where I could feel safe. They helped me, with furniture and whatnot. They helped with some rent and utilities so that I could get back on my feet.
Now, all these years later, Amber is sharing her story in hopes of helping other abuse survivors.
When you're in that situation, you don't feel safe. You don't feel like you can call on, the public to get that safety.
But she says getting help can start with reaching out to the center's 24/7 crisis hotline.
Even if that's, the first step that you have to take, it's not just coming here. If you can at least call, they will make you feel safe and they will help you through the process of the decision that you want to make.
Her message for survivors suffering through abuse:
that if they leave, even though during that time it is very hard to leave, that it is worth it to leave and that you do have help out there. Even if you don't have family, there are people in this community that will help you. And the more we talk about it, the more we become aware of it.
The Bay Area Women's Center is about 60% funded through state and federal grants, but it says it could see cuts this year since overall federal funding is decreasing by about 30%. Donations are also critical through fundraisers like the Wildly Gourmet Dinner and Wine Tasting this Wednesday, April 10th in Bay City. There's a link to buy tickets in this story on abc12.com. In the studio, Christine Winter, ABC 12 News.